What's up, guys? Bear with me a second. Let me share this out. Hope everyone's having a great day. Share it to a couple places. I'm trying to add some more content to the YouTube channel when I have a moment. So probably on days that I take off from work, which I'm taking today off, I'm not doing anything work related today. I'm going to try to do a couple videos a day on the days that I'm actually off work. Bear with me. All right. Let's see. What's up, guys? Hold on a second. Clean my glasses so I can see. So it's so annoying how just you would think something that sits on the end of your face that you're not touching or anything, per se. It's amazing how you constantly have to clean them. And I don't necessarily mean just from random air debris that gets on them, but it's amazing how many times you have smudge marks on your glasses and you've not touched your glasses that you're aware of. So, let's see. So we were talking earlier, like I mentioned, the point. Um, what the hell is that boy talking about? I bet you money he's clicking the wrong one. Hold on, let me make sure I'm giving him the right the right link. Oh crap! Sorry. Let me make sure I'm giving them the correct link because Jason said he just looked, but he said he's in there by himself. There he is. What's up, bud?
What up?
Oh, nothing much, man. Caesar, I think, is going to jump in a little bit also. So I'm just sending out a link to him. And guys, this is Jason Turner. He's another artist.
What's up? What's up?
And creator. He does the Ripper Gene. Let's see. I think most people are caught up in the football bullshit today.
Yeah, it's football Sunday.
Yep. I was trying to find. Like I said, Caesar's supposed to jump on here in a minute. I don't know what Dale's doing. Because I'm trying to. So I'm going to start probably on Sundays, since that's officially going to be like my day off kind of thing, or usually ends up being my day off. Um, I'm going to start doing like 2 shows a day on Sunday, one in the early part of the day and then one in the afternoon, evening, just to try to give people more chances to be able to be on. But I figure I'll do that, and then we'll just kind of talk about what projects people having. But I want to mix it up in the sense that I want to try to have 2 or 3 people on, but I want it to be a mixture of like fan base versus like retailer or online seller, and like artists. So try to split it up and do it that way. Here's Mr. Caesar. What's up, brother?
Gentlemen,
How you doing?
How you
Welcome,
doing?
welcome.
Jason, how you doing, man? You hanging in there?
Hanging in there.
He's over there scribbling.
Scribbling about.
Tracing on something.
Yeah, I told him I want to start. Guys, this is Caesar. Caesar's a podcaster. He's also a comic collector, and usually with a lot of more old school style books and things like that. But appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah, you know what? I've been alone this whole weekend. The wife's been out of town, so I'm walking around my underwear and eating beef jerky for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
There you go.
But other than that, it's fine.
That's what you're supposed to do it, though.
Is that how it's supposed to work?
I'm checking out slabs in the background, but the picture's so small on my phone I can't tell what they are. But that looks like quite a collection.
What do you? Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's got a little bit.
I got a little bit. There we go.
I need to dig my damn swords out. I've got a closet full of them. There's probably, I bet you there's 20 swords in that closet right there. All movie replica weapons and stuff like that. I even have one, and of course I don't know how true it is. All I can go on is by the comments that the guy gave me. I bought it from where he got it from a supposed friend of his. But it's supposed to be one of the replica weapons that was used on the Sleepy Hollow movie for the sword of the horseman.
That's a good one. That's a cool. See, there's certain ones I like. Like I have the Sparta.
Yeah,
sword.
see that.
I have the horseman, the Rohan from Lord of the Rings sword. Yeah. Eowyn. I have the Claymore. I also have the other what's his face's Strider. So I kind of like that stuff. But you know what? After a while, you collect and you're like, if I can't display them, then what the fuck am I doing buying them?
Yeah, and
it's kind of made of toys.
Yeah, that's the way I am too. Like I finally started digging out. I went and bought bookshelves and things. I've been in my apartment for a while, and I'd have like a couple bookshelves up, and some of my statues, but a lot of it was boxed up. What's up, Dale? And like my swords are still boxed up in there. I've got Conan's sword, Conan's father's sword. I've got He-Man's sword. I've got the Sword of Omens from Thundercats. I've got Excalibur, of course, pretty much a staple in anybody's collection. And I've got like Storm Shadow sword. I've got I got Link's sword and shield.
I mean, see that's the whole thing for me. Jason, as you can see, you may not know this, but I'm known in the community as a guy who never read a comic in his life.
Oh yeah,
ever. I've never read one from front to back. Never have. I'm 51, and it just never. But I collect for the history, for the present. I just love the fact that it's something from 1940s and 50s and 60s, and but I have completely removed all my raws. I'm down to one short box of key raws that one day I will slab. Other than that, I'm going all slabs. And there's this sort of relief of not having short boxes and long boxes stacking up. They were just sitting there collecting.
I need to do that.
there's a sense of like, I guess now I feel how Hoarders feels that show when
Yeah.
they come in and clean all that shit up, and you're like, wow, I actually have.
Yeah.
That's how big my closet is, you
I
know.
mean,
And yeah,
I did the same thing. I mean, I cleaned house. Now I sold my collection about, let's see, at this point, my original collection, I sold, let's see, I've been here about 10 years ago. I sold my collection I had that I was building since I was like 16.
Mm.
So I had 34, 35 loan boxes,
Oh wow.
and I sold that entire thing. The only thing I kept out of it was like I had 2 loan boxes of signed books that I personally got signed when I was at Wizard World Chicago in 2000 as a fan. And so I kept that loan box of signed books, and I kept like a loan box of those books that you had to mail away for back in the Wizard magazine. So those halves, those zeros, those
yeah.
dynamic forces, signed books, etc. So I kept those. And and then when I got it back into the art business, or when I got into the art business and being a professional in this industry, I started buying books again to just try to keep my finger on the pulse of what people were buying, so I'd know what to do for print designs. And so I started, and of course the bug bit me a little bit, and I started buying books. And I was buying raw books a little bit at first until I got tired of these sellers online's bullshit of feeding me this, oh, it's in this great condition and this and that. And then I get the book, and it's, we're not talking about half a point off from what they're saying. We're talking about people talking about, oh, it's a 9.0 and you get it and it's an 8.0 at best.
It's another reason why I purchased this. At least I know what I'm getting.
That's what I
mean. Okay, so you could look at a slab and go, that's not really an 8.0. It should be a 9.7, a 9.6.
It's irrelevant.
Or you go, that's not really a 9.8. It should be a 9.4. But at least you kind of get that. But when you are taking face value of someone going, oh, it's a 6.0, and you look at it, you're like, the cover's detached. You didn't tell me that. Now you got to go through the whole shit of sending it back, and they're ghosting you, and then put in a claim and all that. Ugh.
Yeah, so I did the same thing. I stopped buying raw. I started buying slabs. Now, don't get me wrong, I bought slabs for about 2 years, and the bug bit me pretty good because I probably had 50 or so slab yellow label books, so all signed by somebody. And I mean, the only blue labels I had and I had some serious slabs. I had Hulk 181 6.5 blue label. I had ASM 300 that was around, like a low 9 grade. I had ASM 129 that was slab. So I had a lot of key books that were slabbed, and hell, and as I got hardcore into this, to where I hadn't read a book in 3 years, 2 years, I was like, okay, I'm tired. Because at that point, I had, like I said, 50 or so slabs just laying around. They weren't on a wall like that. They were just in my damn way all the time. So I ended up selling that entire collection too. So now I've got like 4 loan boxes of blanks. And then I have those, 2 loan boxes of signed books and shit. And then I've got like another whole box of variants and stuff because I, left over from that variant game. And you can't give that shit away because, those books came out the door swinging at $40 and $50 in the first damn week to, $70, $80 in the first month to 6 months later, they were in people's $10 night buy it now bins.
That's the whole thing about that's why I'm not into the modern game unless it's a modern key. For example, if you had a Miles, for example, right? First Miles, the first Spider-Gwen, I'm all in. But if it's since I'm not a reader, and I don't buy the books to read, and I'm not a completist, so I don't need to have all of the ASMs, all of the Captain Americas, right? Those were the ones that you see those people with 400 boxes in the storage unit because the wife's saying you can't have this shit, right? So right. So it's when I start to become very picky and just collect the keys, it makes things a lot easier, and it also gives you patience of I'm going to pass on that, but I'm not a number snob. It could be a 2.0. I think 2.0 is probably the lowest I can go. But I'm not the kind of guy because once again, we also have those people who collect nothing but 4.5s, 6.0s. It has to be a 9.8. I don't care. it just looks, I don't know, I just like it. But that's the cool thing about collecting. Everyone collects whatever the hell they want.
Yeah,
It's not my money. Sure, but I won't talk shit about it. I don't collect you poos, but I never
No.
shit on anyone who does because
Yeah.
it's not my money. I have
Yeah.
I'm not a judge, jury, or executioner. I don't care what you spend on.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm the
not
same
me.
way. I think once you earn your damn money, however you earn it, you can spend it however you see fit. I'll never ever understand people that want to gatekeep or tell someone how they're spending their money is stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know.
Don't have a flow at all. That's my MO. Like I collect too
I mean,
much.
you can't take the shit with you.
No,
You know?
you can. And the way I see it is all this, someone's like, oh, you're not gonna get by the money, I go, I'm not selling it. Or $2. I don't care. I'm not gonna sell it because it's me. This shit's all going to my daughter anyways.
Yeah.
Though I did tell her, if you do sell my shit, I will haunt you in your sleep. I will pull your toes while you're sleeping.
My wife likes to joke that I'm leaving her a job when I die. Because she's going to sell all this shit.
I mean, now to be fair, there are a lot of people out there that do kind of lie to their significant others about these things. And I think that's a really bad thing to do. Because I'm a big believer. I don't give a shit who earns the money, whether it's two-income family, single income family, whatever the case may be. As long as your bills are paid, you're responsible for paid. What you decide to do with your extra money should be your choice. If she makes her money and she wants to go out and buy clothes and shit like that, as long as the bills are handled, do what you want to do. Enjoy your life because it's too damn short. But I do think you ought to be honest about it because that's a sad thing when someone really does pass away and then their family comes in and they're giving shit away because they have no clue what the value is or what they could sell it for to better their life.
You're right.
If anything, create a wheel with a list of every damn thing you got, the values of on that stuff at that current date, and what they should possibly sell it for, and and then maybe they can recoup some of that money and do something with it if they didn't want to keep it.
My plan is I'm gonna leave. My daughter's 20; she's in third year of college, so it sounds like she's tiny.
Right.
My plan is when the day comes, hopefully I'll be 175 years old. I will assign a friend of mine who's in the comic world.
There you go.
So he's really basically in charge. So people won't take advantage if the day comes where she's like, I want to sell my dad's first Punisher. And some guy goes, no, that's worth nothing. I'll give you 200. And this guy steps in going, that book's about $1,300. So do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Because if you don't do that, we all know the vultures circle around the house as soon as they're like, Caesar's dying. Oh, I've seen his podcast before. I know he has a lot of stuff. And it's nature for people to do that. And it's pretty effed up. But if she can do whatever the hell she wants with it, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is. And we all have our addictions. We all have the things we want to buy. Like I had a good friend of mine. I used to go out and hang out with him at his house and sometimes visit and stuff. And he was a comic collector, collected since he was a kid. And he'd probably spend, $100, $150 a month on books. Now, he doesn't go to the bar. He doesn't gamble. He doesn't, he doesn't drink, party. That's the only habit he had. He doesn't smoke. And every time he turned around, and his bills were always paid. That was never an issue. And she made her money. He made his money. And they lived together. And every time he turned around, him and his wife, well, they were girlfriend at that time, but she would constantly be bitching and complaining about him buying comic books. And I finally got fed up with it one day. And I just told her, I was like, God damn, you're nagging ass. I was like, I went into the whole thing about he doesn't do this, doesn't do this, doesn't do this. I was like, let me ask you something. In this 3-bedroom house, you have 5 closets. How many of those closets are full of his clothes? Well, he just has clothes in the one closet, like a section this big. And I said, okay, whose clothes are in the other 5, the other 5 closets? Oh, they're mine. Okay, how many pairs of shoes do you own? Oh, well, I mean, I've got a lot, but I need those. No, you don't. You need 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. That's all you need. You need 4 or 5 outfits. That's all you need. You don't need 5 closets in a house. She has clothes in her damn closet
Yeah.
that the last time she wore it was the day she tried it on in the damn store. But yet she wants to bitch about him. She gets her nails done. She gets her hair done. But she was like, I'll never understand that. Let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. As long as they're not hurting
anyone. We've never had a joint account. I'm not shitting I'm not shitting on people who do have joint accounts. Many of them do. Many of them have joint accounts so they put their money in there and that's meant for bills, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. But I also have known people who have joint accounts. So if I spend X amount on a book, that wife, significant other will go, why is there a $400 withdrawal from you? Like, because according to her, all these books are $20 each. Right? What's that thing on Facebook that says,
that's the thing where
what is it?
What I paid.
Right. I'm afraid that when I die, my wife's gonna sell all my books for $20. That's what I told her it's worth. Yeah. So it's what it is.
I hope she doesn't sell it for what I told her I bought them for.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Right.
But that's one of those things. Like that's one of those things where those little white lies that happen that me personally, I don't think should happen. If you can't be with somebody that respects what you enjoy, that whether they get it or not, like I said, we all have shit we spend our money on. Because I guarantee you that person complaining about your comics are over there spending $80 to get their nails done once a month, or they're over there buying shoes every damn time you turn around. They got 5 closets in their house full of clothes. So I mean, I do believe that you do need. Like, I believe you do need to say, hey, just a heads up. I found a good deal on such and such book. This is what it's worth. I'm about to go buy it. That should be the extent of the conversation if it's your money, you know. But again, bills and everything have to be paid first. I just don't get it. I see gatekeeping happen even in the comic community. Like, again, talking about maybe do you poos? People talking about, oh, it's trash. It's stupid. Why? Because you just don't get it? Yeah. Like, it's irrelevant. It's one of the hottest selling books on the damn market. It holds more value than any of the modern day
Marat's not an idiot. He's like, as long as it keeps selling and making money, I'm drawing Do You Poo on Mars, on whatever it is, he's gonna do it. It's
and people eat it up.
And people are gonna buy it because there's those completionists who want every single Do You Poo cover.
Yeah.
The same ones who want every 300 ASM 300 homage cover. That's so cool. So the purists who are like, you're not a real collector. So my neighbor collects rocks, he's a collector of rocks.
Yep, that's right.
So the collector is a collector of whatever it is. There's no right or wrong way to collect. It's whatever the fuck makes you happy. My wife cares less how much. She doesn't know. She knows that I sell my books to fund my books that I want.
Right.
But if it came down to, something serious, and she looks at me with puppy eyes and says, you got to sell your books or we're going to be living in the streets. Well, guess what? I guess she's going to be living in the car because I'm not selling my shit.
We're going to have to figure out some OnlyFans hustles.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I get it because, like for me, like I was mentioning, where's that thing at? Hold on a second. Hold on. Get off there. So, I mean, you see,
yeah, that's an expensive hobby too.
So, I mean,
listen,
I'm not collecting no baby statues, money shit.
Toys and statues is an expensive hobby. I commend everybody who has these.
I'm pretty sure cocaine and hookers are cheaper.
I think they are.
Yeah, I tried this before. I couldn't.
It didn't work, right? Yeah.
Jesus, to have that hobby and your hobby, and I collect vinyl records.
Oof.
And
well, this one's the only one I got. I collect statues and I collect memorabilia sword stuff. And that's not cheap either. I mean, some of the swords that I bought, that's not plastic.
Right.
None of these are.
Now don't get me wrong, they're not, forged in fire. Let me run out to the street and fight with them. But they're legit metal and worked product. And some of those, they vary anywhere from $150 to $350.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got one of the original Lich King swords in there that came out back when Blizzard first dropped the WoW expansion for the Lich King. they did a promo. It's like 1,000 of those swords made. That thing is huge and it's heavy as hell. That's $1,000 sword now.
So, see that, but you got to display that shit. But I look in your room, you're like, where?
Yeah. So
where?
I kind of been at some point. I know I'm going to buy. I sold my home. See, it wasn't a problem when I owned my home in Memphis. I had the stuff displayed there. Living in an apartment, I just really haven't wanted to do it. So I'm sure once I buy a home, I know I'll buy another one eventually. I just can't. I haven't talked myself into buying one here in Mississippi because I don't want to live here. But my daughters are here. My grandkids are here now.
Yeah.
I think I'm stuck.
Yeah. So. Meant to know, people, if you go to Will's house and you take a piss and there's a sword hanging over your head, he's running out of room to display.
Yeah, no shit.
I've been there.
Definitely true.
You're gonna display it. You guys above the couch, bro.
Do what?
I've seen your house. You can put it above the couch.
I mean, I'm almost there because I bought that giant. Check this out. This thing is huge. I found this. Ooh.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
This thing is huge. I mean, look,
see, that's actually pretty cool. Actually, is that the original? That's the original. That is, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the movie posters.
Yeah.
So I found someone. Now I don't know if it's like how original or how old. I found it from a guy who was selling vintage movie posters, and he had one of these that was in great shape. I have no clue if it's a reprint or something like that, but I didn't care. Because, like I said, I have Conan's father's sword and I have Conan's sword in the closet. So my intention is to hang this on the wall in the living room and hang each one of the swords on each side of it. Yeah. And then I'm going to try to chase down the actual comic that's the first appearance of Conan, and then frame it with it too. But yeah, I mean, there's
there it is.
There's shit like that. I mean, like.
You had to flex real quick.
Yeah. Sorry, Will. I had it's right there. Sorry, pal. What time is it?
Yeah.
That
Conan right there, Will. Is that the one you want?
Yeah. See, I need that one.
Okay.
Anyway, well, this is taped. This is. I mean, look how big this is. This is Link's shield from Zelda.
Yeah, you need to buy a castle, Will, in order to display all your shit.
Well, like I told people a long time ago, if I ever won the lottery, nobody would know, but everybody would know.
Yeah.
Because you would roll down some street in a town and there would be either one or two things. Something that looks like a medieval castle or something that looks like the home from freaking Munsters or Addams Family.
Exactly.
So you would definitely know.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I would never tell people I won the lottery, but you would know when I'm driving the Batmobile. I'm driving the Batmobile down the street.
Yeah, you would definitely know.
Tour bus.
Do what, Jason?
When I roll up to a Comic-Con in my tour bus, I think you'll know I won the lottery.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to roll in with the Partridge Family tour bus.
The driver.
With the driver, and he has to look like the dad. So speaking of craziness, so last night, so since I've been alone, I started going and thinking to myself, what do I want to watch on TV, right? I'm getting this whole Halloween spooky thing going on. I'm going, all right. And then it hit me. I've never seen the ending of Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, wow.
I've seen the movie, but for some reason, it's like the ending always eluded me. So I'm saying, screw it, I'm going to watch Maximum Overdrive. It is by far, it's horrendously funny.
Yeah.
It's good to watch and just laugh and go, whew, the blood, the acting and all that. So then I got to the end. I'm like, oh, I never saw this part. And then it finished. I'm like, I could have probably gone the rest of my life without actually seeing the end of that movie. But last night I saw Trick or Treat.
Oh, that's a great one.
What a fun movie.
I've seen probably
I just watched it like day before yesterday.
I don't know why now I know why people like it. It's a modern day creep show or however you want to call it. And the way they put it full circle. Have you guys drawn him? Have you drawn that little?
Yeah, I've done Sam.
Look at that.
Matter of fact, see, like, hold on.
He has a name, right? Like Sam or Peter, or he has a name. My daughter's like, oh, I love that little blah blah blah. I don't know what his name is. It's a cool character,
Yeah, I haven't drawn him yet because I was.
Yeah, his name is Sam. Like
Sam. Like Sam Hain? Like Sam Hain?
Yep. See?
Oh, there he is. See? So you've driven him. I mean, you've drawn him before.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've drawn him a few times. Yeah, it's such a great. Yeah, that is one of those horror movies that is like like the way I view that is the way we do Psycho Sal in a sense. Is that's the storytelling I want, because you notice some of it that happened, like I was talking about in the earlier video, it's off screen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just everything's not just in your face.
Those are
And
the
the
scariest
way-
movies. Those are the scariest
Yeah.
movies. Yeah.
And the way they laid out the stories, creating this mythology, like with the kids on the school bus, and the whole the whole mythology around you're not supposed to smash pumpkins on Halloween before Halloween is over.
Right.
So yeah, all of that, the way they wrapped all that is one of my all-time favorite movies, and they're finally doing a sequel to it.
Have either one of y'all seen that new movie, The Boogeyman?
Yep, I just watched it like last night or something. the day
Is
before.
it any good?
I enjoyed it.
I think it's good. Now it's not the best movie in the world or anything like that. Not much is anymore, but it's definitely worth a watch. The characters are believable, in my opinion, and the acting is pretty good, in my opinion, and the concept, the storytelling of the character, because again, it's a lot of that's in the shadows, and it's not in your face per se. Storytelling. I think they did good on it.
Kind of plays on that primal fear of what's in the closet, you don't know, and sometimes that's scarier than
100%.
it's just gore from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, and as much as I'm not a big fan of the Saws and the Hostels and all that, because it's so in your face, right? I do love the others. I do love the Sixth Sense. I do love things that the worst fear is having your imagination run wild. And that is scarier than anything. When after the movie ends and you're alone in the house and you do hear that creak, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Even though you know it's the house. But still you're like, and then you kind of grab your sword and you're like, hello?
Walking through the house with your lightsaber.
That's what it is. That's the kind of stuff that
it is. Because if you go back to the classic story, like again, because obviously, me being a big fan of classics, Frankenstein, stuff like that. Like I mean, even if you go back to movies like the original Frankenstein, or Dracula or any of that,
it was frightening. It was frightening from the 1940s.
There was no music, so you didn't have that to crutch on, because music. You go watch any of these new movies where the music is setting the tones and the mood and everything, and then you watch a behind the scenes thing where they're shooting that and there's no music.
No.
It's almost laughable.
Yeah.
So the music is a huge impact. But when you go back to those classics like Frankenstein and Dracula, where the storytelling had to be on point. And the scenery had to be on point, and the acting had to be on point. Yeah, there were some cheesy moments with some of the actors, sure. But that's some of the best storytelling for setting the mood and everything, and getting your own imagination mixed into it. I mean, the same thing, you go back and look at like Hitchcock with Psycho. A lot of that stuff is just creating this atmosphere where you're kind of scaring yourself. Because I mean, in your face brutality has its place, and it can get a point across. Like I was talking earlier, like even with Psycho Sal, there's moments where you're shown the brutality, but you're kind of shown it after the fact. So you didn't really see it happen. It kind of happened off screen, and then you're shown the result.
You let your imagination run a little while of how they got to that point.
Yep.
Right. How terrifying was it for him or her to end up that way? Right. It's so when you see movies of when they walk into a room and it's a bloody mess, you're like, but they don't show how it became a bloody mess.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You're like, oof, that looked pretty bad. Right.
Yeah.
So it speaking of Psycho Sal, so being alone in the house, I'd be doing a lot of voices to myself. and I think
yourself.
I have and We can talk about how character building in scary movies or suspense thrillers, how it's the music, and it's also the way you build that character and the way even as simple as the way he talks, right?
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
something very unsettling when the murderer or the serial killer or whatever has a certain tone of speak. He doesn't
Yeah.
sound like this. Oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm
Right.
just a normal
Exactly.
guy, right? It's always there's something. So I we got to talk. I was going to call you Sal. We got to talk, Will, because I've come up with more of a
Oh, good.
different approach because it's
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah. And that's what, like, like a lot of people, like the crazy funny thing is, and that's the way I intended it when I created the character, and the way I had Chris and him write it for the first three books and Lori for the next three, 4, 5, and 6 is, I want this thing written like it's a living, breathing thing. Like
Yeah.
I want the book to feel like it's something that can be turned into a TV thing or turned into a movie thing.
Right.
And so far, it's right on the nose. I mean, that's like the main comment or compliment, really, that I've heard almost every single person that reads the book or that I've explained the book to them prior to reading it. Oh, that sounds like that could be a movie. Or they read it and they go, this could
Sure.
like literally be a TV show. And I'm
Sure.
like, well, that's why it's written that way. If you notice with Psycho Sal in the first three books, and this is this way through the whole series, there's no levity. There's no making jokes. There's no cutting humor. There's no nothing. Because like I told people, like we want this book to be extremely serious. We don't want people laughing with Psycho Sal. That's why anytime you hear him speak in the book, he is never cutting any type of jokes. He is never talking like a normal person would.
No puns.
Yeah, exactly. There are no puns in it. He's not trying to be Freddy. He's not trying to be, likable in the sense of Jason killing off cliche people that annoyed us in high school.
Right.
The snobby, rich kid or the, jock that with the ego, and that's what happens with Freddy and Jason and stuff. People kind of side with them a little bit because of their humor or because of their situation. And, we didn't want him like that. So like adding a voice to him, I think is one of the creepiest things to do. For one, most people never do that with any character in their
Right.
books.
Right.
I mean, I've already had compliments on the video, and for those that don't know, Caesar's the one that done the voice that brought Psycho Sal's voice to life. And we'll make a little tweaks to it here and there because it's just testing footage.
Sure.
But I love like where that's going because I want it to be, that's why I came to like Caesar about doing this voiceover thing for him. So I want people to hear that. I want people when they read the book, I want two major things to happen. One, people to grasp and understand that they could literally be in those shoes at any given point in time in their life because of the way people pay zero attention to shit going on around them these days.
Yeah.
And they're in this false bubble attitude that, oh, nothing's going to happen.
It happened to me. Yeah.
And that's why Psycho Sal is the way he is. He's not like every other serial killer. This dude does not operate with a profile.
It's scary for me. I watch enough crime shows and murder shows that my daughter is in Missouri. She's in Montana. She goes to Montana University, and we talk, and I'm like, okay, Sophia, remember now. Always walk with the group. Always look around. When you leave work and you walk to the car, make sure somebody walks with you. Because I'm constantly like in that daddy mode of, all right, so make sure. And then I'm gonna send you that ring that has the things on it, and you flip it around. It's scary out there, and that to me is scarier than any Saw movie or anything like that because humans are the scariest thing. Fuck it.
Yeah, they are.
Humans are the ones, right? Screw the Bigfoot, screw the Loch Ness Monster, screw the Chupacabra. It's the humans that stalk, the ones that do that, and they do stalk. It's unsettling. It really is, and that's what makes good movies because when you make a movie or you write a comic book based on something that truly can happen, and that's why I like the Batman movie, the new Batman movie that came out. I liked it because you're going, you know what? I can see that. I can see the Riddler kind of built this cult following based on what he thinks and what he says. Batman got his ass kicked all the time. It's year 2, year 1. Yeah. The Riddler is a genius, but he's no powers. He's just a regular guy. Yeah. It could really happen. Something like that can really happen. And it has happened in some cult following where, Waco and stuff like that, where people do that. That's some scary shit. And that's what makes it good. So the fact that I can give a voice to someone that all you have to do is talk a little like this. Yeah. And all he has to do is slow down.
Yeah. Because one of the things like people don't realize is, like the thing that makes the most creepy, terrifying style comics, books, movies, whatever the case it is for me is, like you said, the stuff that is actually set in real. Mm-hmm. In the actual realness of it, because like whether you're dealing with possession, whether you're dealing with serial killers, in my opinion, that is definitely one of those things that is the most terrifying for storytelling, because and especially when you're dealing with it like the way we're doing with Psycho Sal, and the fact that like no one's safe. Most of the serial killers, it's always been a pattern. It's always been a profile. So they either killed all males or they killed all females or they killed non-females, and then everyone who was brunette was safe. And, so you could go through life avoiding him just by changing how you might look. Or, if it was a serial killer hunting men, you knew as a woman you were safe, and vice versa. But, that was one of the things we wanted to break that mold with Psycho Sal. And we wanted to make sure that we kind of hit on the actual realism that you could be a victim for someone like this at any point in time in your life, no matter who you are. And for me, that is extremely terrifying, that no one is safe.
You know what? It will never happen to me. I try to never say that because it's almost like you're bringing that shit onto yourself. You know what I mean? It really is. It's manifesting.
You kind of live. Nothing bad's ever going to happen to her. I kind of live like head on a swivel.
Well, I don't know whether it's me working, because I don't really remember thinking that way prior to it. But after working 7.5 years in the life insurance world and dealing directly with family members and stuff that, whether they were dying from murder or dying from sickness or dying from whatever. One of my clients, her daughter was meeting some dude at a parking lot. I think it was one of her baby daddies, if I remember. She had 5 kids, and she was meeting one of their dads at a parking lot in Memphis, and he shot and killed her in her car. You can't, I don't get it anymore. No matter, like I was telling people that one night, I've sat doing paperwork at, 9 o'clock at night, pitch dark. I sat with clients from, 3 in the afternoon till my last appointment at the night was 9 p.m. So there was times I wouldn't leave a client's home till, 10:30 at night. And then sometimes I would stop at a parking lot and do paperwork or something, notes that I need to put down while it's fresh in my head. And I'll be sitting in a parking lot, stores are closing. And I watch, people, whether they're male or female, walk out of that damn store. No one else in the damn parking lot for the most part, looking at their phone from the door to their car. Never looked around, paid any attention to any damn thing going on around them. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, man. That's why movies are made.
Yeah. It should be like a rule set, like this is what you should be paying attention to. This is what you should be looking out for.
That's what
it's this weird little bubble.
That's why you try to just preach as much as you can to the young ones of you just got, just walk in packs and do this and that. And, I remember as a kid, I'm the oldest one here. And I remember back in the day of the old, don't take candy from a stranger. Yeah. Don't approach anybody. Don't open the door if you're left alone. All those things. And believe it or not, all those subliminal gruff and the crime dog and all that shit.
Yeah, we don't have him no more. You
I
notice
gotta,
that? That's
no,
not a
of course
thing
not.
anymore.
It all like seeped into my brain as a child because I would it
Yeah.
wouldn't be it would be in between watching Robotech and fucking Scooby Doo. All these commercials would pop in, and next thing you know, I'm like, wow, that shit really worked. They don't do
Yeah.
that anymore. Those
Yeah.
days are done. They don't do those. What is it? The more you know, or the whatever. They don't do that stuff anymore.
I mean,
'Cause
yeah, I
everyone's-
remember the commercials. Keep your doors locked. You know, don't talk to strangers. Don't. But then again, think about it. Now we went from don't ever get in the car with strangers to now we're climbing in Ubers.
Yeah.
Don't ever take food or candy from strangers, and now we're ordering DoorDash.
it's
You
funny,
realize
right?
the damage someone could do with DoorDash if they really wanted to.
People
Now they
have
didn't
been
get caught,
people
but
have been
the
murdered.
amount of damage they could do in a 24-hour, 48-hour time period, or however long before they got caught, holy shit!
People have been murdered getting into the wrong Uber.
Well, see, there you go.
they get it. Why? Because they're on their phone. They
Uh-huh.
jump in the back seat and the car just takes off, and then they find
Yeah.
that person dead in a
Yeah, there
couple
was
days.
like a video on YouTube where some guy was parked
Yeah.
and somebody jumps in the back seat of his car
Mhm.
and it freaks him out. He's like, "What the hell are you doing? Aren't you my Uber?" And he's like, "No, I'm not your Uber."
Yeah.
I'm like,
It
"Holy
happens.
shit."
It happens. Did you watch the whole Demeter movie?
Yes, yes.
Did you guys like it?
I dug it.
I did. What do you think about it, Jason? Did you see it?
Yeah, I dug it. I mean, it wasn't like mind or life changing, but I liked it. You know?
Apparently, it was sitting in the can for like years. This whole movie, and the reason why I won't watch it because it's almost like I already know what's gonna happen.
I mean, you kind of do because if you've ever read Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Right.
you read the
Exactly.
little.
He's not going to die in the ship. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean,
Yeah, it's in the book, for those that don't know, in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Voyage of the Demeter was this small section in the book that was called the Captain's Journal or Captain's Log or something like that. But anyway, it started out we're leaving Budapest or wherever it was on our way to England. We picked up all these boxes. So the premise, you just don't know what actually happened on the boat. They picked up these crates. That it ended up being Dracula being shipped from there to England, and he ended up killing everybody on board. You just don't know what happened. So that's all it is. It's just a filler for that specific section of book. But it's not bad. They did really well on the characters. They did well on the lighting, the set. They did good on the creepiness of it. Like it has a little bit more of that classic kind of horror movie stuff, or like the old school stuff. So that was kind of cool.
I think it's made for people who don't know shit about Bram Stoker Dracula. They really just think it's about this creature on a ship.
Yeah.
If you know nothing about Dracula, then it's the movie for you, probably, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming. It's like, there's this
I
thing.
definitely think it's worth a watch. Like I said, it didn't make it cheesy. It didn't try to reinvent the wheel or anything. Like they kept it that spooky kind of classic horror telling. Because you didn't see him a whole lot. Like you only saw him a few times, visually. So it wasn't constantly being thrown in your face. A lot of it was just the mood and the lighting and stuff like that, and these things happening. But no, I definitely think it was worth a watch. And this is the Boogeyman that they were talking about. There's the one.
So did that recently June 2nd? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it came out this past June. Yeah.
I'm contemplating tonight for my movie tonight will be tell me if I should or shouldn't because it's been so long. Is They Live.
That's a great movie.
That's with Roddy Piper, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a great movie. Now it's dated, but it is a great movie, especially really and truly. You know what? I almost think that movie's more relevant now than it was back then, because we're told how to think, we're told what to buy, we're constantly bombarded with you're not good enough, you need to buy these materials to make you better. Oh, you're not pretty enough, you need to do this. Buy this stuff here, it'll make you feel better. Like I think that movie like has way more grounded shit in it now than it did even then.
I'm shocked they have yet to remake it.
Yeah, I am too. And I think it would be like a lot of people want to bash remakes. I'm one of those people. I've seen
Certain
so
movies
many-
should be remade.
Well, this is
Certain.
the way I look at it. I've seen so many damn movies; it's ridiculous. I'm a fan of movies, so I've even though horror is my favorite genre, and I've probably seen almost every damn horror movie made. I've seen tons of other stuff: romantic comedies, actions, etc. I just love movies. When you grow up dirt ass poor, the only thing you have is watching movies on VHS or watching movies on Saturday Creature Feature and stuff like that. So I'm one of those people. I can be a fan of the original and they can remake it and it can be hot shit and it's not going to make me not be a fan of the original anymore.
Yeah.
So that brings up a point. I'm going to ask you, both of you guys, which remake of a movie of the past that was remade, you actually enjoyed it?
Oh, I got a couple of those. You go first, Jason. I actually got a few of those.
Think for a second.
Now to the point where it's kind of like, hey, it's up there with the original, or believe it or not, I kind of like it better than the original.
Dawn of the Dead. That's definitely one that I like the remake a lot better than the original.
The one where with what's like Big Rains in it?
No,
right?
when they
the small Big Rains. Yeah, that in my opinion, that's one of those that's better than the original.
Yeah.
Well, wait, but isn't that the one in the mall?
Yeah.
But that's Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called Dawn of the Dead. I think that's a remake, if I remember.
Yeah, it is because the original was in this. Yeah, I think you're right.
Dawn of the Dead and then Day of the Dead, which is the third one. They're like in a military base and.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you one for me, Evil Dead. The remake of Evil Dead, even though they did a little plot twist in that with one of the characters, in the way what's the dude's name?
Ash.
Ash.
He plays Ash.
Yeah. Campbell, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, so Bruce Campbell said, well, this is he kind of played the multiverse thing. He's like, well, this remake is kind of as if it was in a different multiverse. The remake of Evil Dead is so much better than the first one. But to be fair, the first one was in like the late 70s or something, early 80s, something like that. And I think late 70s. And they had a budget of like, $20 or some shit. And they were shooting it in the woods at a friend of the cabin or something. So
the remake,
that's it is what it is for when it was. Now, because I know when I saw that movie as a kid, it scared the shit out of me. And then when I finally years and years later went back and watched it as a young adult, I was like, what the hell? This is bad. Like for me, it was.
When you're talking remake, are you talking the recent remake of that movie? Or because Evil Dead 2 was almost like a remake of that movie.
Well, Evil Dead 2 was I mean, it's still a sequel though.
Yeah.
I mean, that Evil Dead 2 that came out, and then the Army of Darkness, the third movie, etc. Yeah. I mean, it's still a sequel. It wasn't really a remake. It was just them. They had more money, and they went in and tried to shoot some more stuff, and it's just a sequel. Yeah. Now, the remake is the one I'm talking about that came out a handful of years ago that had where they had the young girl that was his sister, and they took her to the cabin to try to detox her.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Hey, what's up, Frederick?
Great. The Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, I saw that one, and that one's not bad. Like it kind of goes back a little bit to the roots of just trying to be spooky and scary. So it's not a bad watch. So that one's worth checking out. I'll tell you another one, in my opinion, the remake is so much better than the first, and that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I never saw the remake, though. I did see on my TV it popped up the Leatherface, which is the prequel, I guess. Did you guys watch that?
That's terrible.
It looks pretty bad. Okay,
that's hot garbage.
So the remake, is that with Jessica Biel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Rob Zombie?
No.
Okay. It is
acting that one, so it's not him.
Okay, so now this is the thing about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I watched that in the theaters when I was younger in the drive-in, actually. And it is scary because it's more of a shocking, because it's like, oh, the table, the dinner table, and the sucking on the finger, and just kind of like, ugh, right? But the new one, which I never saw, I'm assuming they made it because of the special effects and the music. And nowadays, I'm assuming it's creepier than the first, or is it the first one creepier because it's so 70s and low budget that it kind of gets under your skin?
Which one is that?
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, you talking about the remake?
Yeah, I mean, why is it better?
Well, this one right here. So they did two. They did the remake. This is the prequel here, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. So what happened was they wanted to do a remark. You know, they brought Gunny Sergeant in. I can't remember his name, but you know what I'm talking about, Gunny guy, the army guy.
Yeah.
He played in that movie, and what they were trying to do was, you know, they wanted to redo this story, and they wanted to go back to the roots of it just being creepy. And I'm trying to there we go. I think I got it now. Where's it at? Okay, so they did a remake, which was this one.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can't remember the guy that directed it. If I remember correctly, I think it's the same guy that directed the remake of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, the new Friday 13th, 2009 one. But they did that movie. They brought in the guy who played. He's been in a bunch of movies, but he's big dude, big. He played Latimer in that football movie back in the 90s or 80s called The Program. He's been in a bunch of other stuff, but huge guy. They brought him in. They reshot it. They brought in fresh characters. They twisted the story just a little bit. So they made minor changes. So if you've ever seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know they pick up the hitchhiker, right?
Yeah.
All right. And it's a dude, and he's loco. All right. So they end up throwing him out of the vehicle, and there was no real reason for that group of college kids, or however you want to look at them, to be stopping to go deal with this family. So they kind of changed that a little. So in the remake, they changed that guy to a lady, and she had been one of their hostages that she had gotten away, and she ended up. And I'm trying not to ruin this for you. Well, you know what? At this point,
it's spoilers. This movie's been out since 2007, and
now you just get out of luck. So they changed it to her again, because let's just be honest with you, you're going to be a little more sensitive when it's a female than a male. Just is what it is.
It is what it is.
So they changed it to a female. And instead of it being a creepy person, they turned her into a victim. So now she's crying. She was wandering down this Texas road, and they stopped to pick her up. They were on their way to I think, Leonard Skinner concert or something. Okay, great. Makes sense. College kids driving across country or Texas to go to a show. They pick her up. She's all upset, crying and everything. And she ends up pulling a gun out from between her legs, and like she blows her head off right there in their vehicle when she discovers that they're turning around to go back to where she just came from. So she didn't want to be caught again by the family. So she shoots herself. Now they've got this body in their vehicle, and now they're looking for the closest police station. So that's how they get intertwined with the sheriff, who is one of the family members.
So they changed it up.
Yeah. They changed it up a good bit to where it made a bit more sense. And it's way more brutal. In my opinion, it's so much more brutal than the original movie.
All right. Well, maybe the original one would be, I would think, would be creepier because it's not as brutal.
Yeah, I mean, like you see some of the stuff happen, but it is some of it's a kind of off screen or off
screen. Right.
Like even when they hung her up on the hook in that one scene, you didn't really see the hook or anything like that, other than there's the hook. He picks her up. Like you don't see the interaction. Like on the new one, you know, he picks dude up. It's a guy, and he hangs him on the hook, and you kind of see a little bit more.
Well, remember nowadays the special effects you can do compared to what back in the old days, it would be kind of cheesy because you could probably see the string and all that. But nowadays they have a harness, and it just looks more like. Ugh.
Now back then, because that was one of the first movies I ever saw as a kid that I remember. That movie was terrifying. It scared the hell out of people.
Oh yeah. Plus he himself is terrified. He himself with the face.
Yeah. But what's the name that played him in the remake? He did an incredible job.
Yeah, I remember it's like that 20-minute scene of just them girls, she's screaming and just running, and he's chasing her, and then the scene, like they're in another scene, she's just still screaming as she runs.
That's some
Yeah.
He throws a chainsaw at her because I'm
But
tired.
that movie ended up doing so well
Yeah.
that they took the same cast and they shot a prequel,
Yeah.
telling how that family came to be and how
Wow.
he became to be the sheriff. Which
no
was
bueno,
what-
huh? No bueno.
Yeah, and
Not too good.
dude, it's in my mind, in my opinion, that is one of the best remakes ever. So definitely watch it if you haven't seen it.
The who's it? Jason brought up the Wolfman. Now I'm one of those very few people who actually did enjoy the Benicio del
Oh, I
Toro
loved it.
version of Wolfman.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that movie. It bombed in the movie theaters, and people, I don't know what they were expecting, but I liked it. And the thing is, back when Universal started doing the Universal Dark, and they wanted to do, that's why they did Werewolf. That's why they did Wolfman. That's why they did Dracula Untold. That's why they even brought in the Mummy with Tom Cruise. And it didn't. I could see where they were going, and it just didn't. And it dropped, and they scrubbed the whole thing. But the Wolfman, for me, the way they transform him and all that was just the way his eyes got like real big. It was some real
Baker.
I can see
because it was a full-blown costume. Like that was a full-blown costume. They put a guy in stilt type leggings, the ones that bends like that. It looks like a wolf's legging.
Yeah,
he's in stilts. All the running scenes, all the character scenes. The only thing in that was CG was the literal transformation.
Yeah,
that was
cool,
it,
man. I liked it. So my favorite part of that movie is Jason. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh, you severely missed. I mean, dude,
I suggest you check it out. Check it out. It's good acting.
Might see it and be like, I'm old, so I might see it and be like, oh yeah.
Well, I mean, the sad thing is horror is already a smaller niche market in general. Okay, then you take and you put classic horror, which is Frankenstein, Wolfman, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Told today or not, that's an even smaller niche market in the horror community because most of those movies nobody has seen since the 30s. And you'll get a sprinkle of The Mummy here or a sprinkle of werewolf style movies here or there, but it's not that. I mean, the Brandon Fraser Mummy was the closest you got to those characters. But I think if there's no way in my mind you could possibly be a Universal Studios monster fan and not like that remake. That the storytelling was great. The lighting, the scening, the acting, in my personal opinion, was one of the most purest throwbacks to classic, Universal style monster movies that I think I've ever seen.
Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins, you put those people together along with others, and the setting, it's dark, it's foggy. Then you have Hugo Weaving's in it, from the Matrix. It's very well, and it's a shame. And then not too long ago, my wife's never seen it. I had her watch Wolf with Jack Nicholson and James Spader. I gotta tell you, man, that's a fun movie. If no one's watched, I think it's just called Wolf.
Yeah, it's called Wolf. If
no one's seen that, and you want a young Jack Nicholson and a very young James Spader playing what he's good at, and that's an asshole, it's a pretty good movie. Michelle Pfeiffer is in it.
Yeah.
The wolf transformation. Now, the funny thing is about that movie, they're not full blown. In Wolf, they don't wolf out the way they normally. It's like they have like just human with a lot of hair.
Yeah, it's a bit more throwback. I mean, really and truly, it's probably the closest
the original,
to the Wolf Man, like Lon Chaney Wolf Man.
Yeah, because he didn't turn into a he didn't turn into an 8-foot beast
giant. That was a good movie though. That it really was. It was good storytelling,
and it holds up. It holds up. It's
Jack Nicholson, of course. Such an incredible night. Here it is.
I like movies that if you watch, they're from the 80s or 70s, and if you watch them now, and you're going, you know what, that actually holds up. Then for me, it's a good movie. So one of the other ones that I truly enjoyed that many people did not like. There you go. Did not like was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro. I
Uh,
love that movie because one, Robert De Niro's Frankenstein. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, that's and
I think it threw people off because they were expecting,
the bolts
I think they
and
were
all that.
expecting Frankenstein,
Yeah,
and you're just not going to get Boris Karloff.
no,
It's not going to happen.
And he's not going to be green with the flat head and the bolts
Uh-uh.
coming out, the big
That's
boots.
that's a once in a lifetime thing. I don't think you'll ever see a Frankenstein movie that'll ever try to reduplicate that.
Imagine if you did that now. I mean, let's think about it, gentlemen. Imagine if they made a Frankenstein with the big boots, Herman Munster looking type.
That's the way it would come off.
They would laugh.
People would look at it and they would think Herman Munster. Like, that's the sad thing, because Karloff was a whole nother level of actor.
Yeah.
And sadly, because we've had the Munsters and we've had the spoofs and we've had all of that. Like, now, if you try to do it, that's what it's going to come off as. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I really don't think you can do it, especially with Rick Baker not being here anymore. Because Rick Baker, he's that guy that he understood those. That's why the remake of the Wolfman looked so incredibly good and so real, because he knew it had to be traditional makeup and things like that. And a lot of these guys today, I don't think they understand that enough to where they could do it in respect to Karloff.
So let me ask you guys, what are your thoughts now on because when I was younger, to me, American Werewolf in London was the very first time I saw a transformation that was so the way the snout kind of went and busting out of the shoes and all that. And then if you watch it now, and I haven't watched it in quite a few years, but if you watch it now, does it still hold? Do you watch and going,
it's been so long. I have to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in so long. I remember it terrified me as a kid. But
I mean, the thing walking,
yeah.
I taught me never to fucking walk alone with a buddy in the woods in Romania or the hell they were in, who the hell does that?
America, but
yeah. I watched it. I mean, I watched it just not too long ago. I mean, there's like I said, being a horror fan, Halloween rolls around, I'm digging out all kinds of stuff, but I watch them through the year too. I love American Werewolf in London. Again, Rick Baker.
They did a remake. They did a remake of that, right?
No, they did. They did American Werewolf in Paris. Sequel.
See, why the would you do? Just call it what it is. Yeah. American Werewolf in Ohio.
Yeah, I mean,
and
the sad thing is, like, the movie, it had potential, but they went full digital werewolves, and that
kind of blew it. Right?
Yeah, it's trash. And it could have had potential. Like, the acting stuff in it wasn't that bad, but once that was involved, it was and I mean real bad.
Well, one of my favorites is the first, and I'm gonna say them because there's been so many. It's Underworld. Now, Underworld I really love because it had everything I like. It had werewolves and it had vampires. And if you guys see my logo on Instagram, it's a werewolf in a London, Dracula's wolf. And I did like the one. What's it? The 1, 2. Which is the one where they kind of got into
where they went back at the prequel.
The prequel where how he became Lycan, right?
Yeah. That was like the fourth movie or something.
I enjoyed that because I do like me a good prequel. I like a good origin story and stuff like that, right? But those movies are good, and then they get stupid, and that's where I lose track. Then they get this, and she has a daughter, and then they're in the city, and all that's like,
that's when you're just milking it.
Well, that's when you just kind of like, man, can't you just be happy with what you did? And no, it's all about what it is. It's all about the cash grab. Yeah. But I will say one movie that Jason brought up I never seen ever, maybe because it wasn't my time, was Monster Squad. Maybe I was too old for that. Great. Is it really? Because
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to feel dated now, of course. But I watched that movie when it first came out.
Was there a second one? It says Monster Squad 2. Did they
no, there's not a second one. They could possibly be doing it. I would love to see.
So that's Jason Bean. That's Jason Bean very much.
I would love to see them do one. Van Helsing is a good movie.
See, now Van Helsing was fun. Now see, Van Helsing's Frankenstein is interesting, right? Because he
Yeah,
has
man,
the
he looked
bolts
cool.
and electricity. And Van Helsing was pretty cool. That's a fun movie
Yeah.
to watch.
Hey,
Yeah, Monster Squad, it definitely it does have that dated feel to it. Now, to be fair, Monster Squad, let's see, Monster Squad's probably one of the only movies that tried to stick to traditional Karloff Frankenstein, and I think they pulled it off. Like that one, I forgot all about him being in that one. And shit, I just watched that movie about a month ago. But yeah, so they did it in that, and then they kind of did a little bit of a version of him in Van Helsing. Now, the only thing I didn't like, I didn't, because in Van Helsing, he's pretty damn smart.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of portrayed him as someone that's pretty damn intelligent.
Right.
I wasn't super necessarily fond of that. Like, I don't want him to be just a drooling idiot or anything, but I like it when Frankenstein's more of a quiet. Like, even if you go back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein,
Yeah.
the way what's his name played him, you notice like he didn't say tons and tons of stuff.
He evolved.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when he spoke, it was serious. Like it was to the point, and it wasn't someone just trying to have a conversation. You know what I mean?
So what were you saying, Jason?
I was hating to cut you off. I'm gonna have to duck out of here. Evidently, my wife just came there. We've got some people coming by to grab some furniture. Something she saw. And
We'll tell them to load the shit up.
well, I think I need to be there if they're gonna walk in my house.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah. And I'm only here. So
Close your door.
yeah.
So they
No
don't go
problem,
in there.
man. If you decide you want to jump back on, just jump back on because we're going to talk about a few things while Caesar wants to chat.
Yeah, if y'all gonna go, yeah, I'll jump back
Yeah,
in.
jump back on.
Yeah. Just click the thing and see if I'm still here.
All right.
So,
Sounds good.
all right, go get your
Hey,
weed.
Jason.
All right, boy. Bye.
Yeah, you know what? That's code for I gotta go get my drugs.
Yeah,
then bring it home.
that's cold. So I got to go before I get my ass kicked.
But-
Del Toro. Yeah, Del Toro's Guillermo del Toro. Pan's Labyrinth for me is one of my favorite Del Toro movies
that's
out
a
there,
good one.
and his creatures are creepy.
You know Del Toro, and I don't know how truth of it is, how much truth is in it, but I've seen the little things talking about it, and it's supposed to be a done deal. Del Toro is supposed to be doing Frankenstein.
I would love to see what Del Toro, because he's a horror master in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
He does some good creepy stuff in the Spanish stuff, and the mind that he has, because he is a horror fan. And the best thing about certain horror movies is when you have a director who's a fan of horror movies. The same thing with superhero movies, right? If you have a director who's a fan of superheroes, it's going to be pretty good. But when you have someone who doesn't get horror and just is a good director, I guess you could direct anything to be good. But when you have someone who's like, oh, I grew up with these monster movies and I grew up with this, and I'm going to make a Frankenstein, it's going to be pretty damn good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Del Toro do kind of dabble in that. As a matter of fact, I would like for them to, I want them to bring back the Universal Dark. I want them to try it again. Let's give it a go. I love Dracula Untold. It's one of I love it. I like period pieces. Yep. 2, I like the lore of how he became and all that. And they set it up for it to be a sequel. And of course, obviously, it took a dump. But I don't know, something of the battle scenes and how he did it with it's just, maybe I'll check that out tonight, actually.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's a good one.
And it's one of the, like, I love the spin they put on it, because for those that don't know, Dracula is based on Vlad the Impaler, and that dude wasn't no nice guy. He did what he had to do in the time of war, and he was doing it to
save the kingdom and his family and all that stuff. So I kind of do like it.
I did like the little twist they put on it. Creating this new mythology for it. Because here's the thing. When you take, and it's the same reason they did it in Endgame and everything with Thanos. When you take a person or creature, whatever the case, and they're just pure evil, you can't connect. You're just rooting for them to die. There's got to be a reason. But when you take a character and you give them a little bit of a backstory, like they did with Dracula Untold, they changed it more to where he was trying to protect his people, he was trying to protect his family, he was trying to stop the Turks, and he ended up having to do what he could do because he was so outnumbered from them. And so you can kind of connect with that character a little bit more and see the tragedy in it, and especially once his wife died, and everything. So you see that tragedy. So I mean, like I said, they did the same thing with Thanos. If they'd have left it like the comics, that he just wanted to wipe out half of the populations of the universe just to impress death, nobody would have gave a shit. But the fact they took it and went, oh, well, let's see, I got a choice. I can leave your planet the way it is, and in a few generations from now, everyone will be dead because they're suffering and starving and warring. Or I can wipe out half the population. You will prosper. Everyone will go, with food, and everyone would live, for generations and generations and generations. Then you sit back and go, okay, yeah, I kind of see that now.
This is why I'm okay with certain stuff being changed, because if they kept things to the original story in today's society, and because remember, they make these movies to make money. They don't make it for the nerds who read the books since they were 8. They don't. They make it for you who are superhero, but you're gonna bring your daughter, you're gonna bring your son, you're gonna bring your wife, you're gonna bring whatever, and they give 2 shits about what's going on. So you kind of have to make it relevant. And some of these books are too intricate that if they were to make that, people would be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be nugging like, I don't get it. Why is he doing that? And why is she doing that? And it's like, dude, you can't make. And I always go back to The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. If people are like, well, they ain't doing the comic, that movie would be 7 hours long.
Yeah.
And a lot of singing and a lot of stuff, and people would be bored as shit because it's whatever. But that's why a lot of times you have to twist it around. Now, sometimes they go like way off.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's the situation where you get the bullshit where it's a director who's not a fan of the source material or doesn't know it very well, and they're just, I need to tell it in my way. Look, I'm fine with that when you're just creating some random ass movie out of the blue and you want to tell it your way. Sure, knock your socks off.
Right.
But when you're dealing with IPs that have legit, hardcore millions of fans already tied into it, you need to create something that is a bit fan friendly to bring them in. You need to stop giving a shit about the 1% or the 2% that isn't watching your movie, buying your product, and worry about the 90%, 95% that shop your stuff day in and day out. Right. So there are moments where like case in point, when they did the X-Men movie for Age of Apocalypse. Mm. That was some of the most hot trash shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was.
I avoided.
It is. You know what? I got to be honest. I pride myself to try to watch all the superhero movies.
Yeah, I watch them.
But I did not watch the Dark Phoenix one.
You didn't miss nothing.
Because, and I never allow people to influence my thoughts. No. But everyone said it's so bad. And no, I also didn't see the New Mutants either for the same reason. Yeah. People are saying it's so bad. So I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't watch it. I never did.
Yeah.
And apparently I was right.
The only thing I liked about the New Mutants is I kind of dug them trying to create a little bit more of a horror movie feel.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
That I thought was pretty interesting. But overall, as a movie, it wasn't that great. Age of Apocalypse was hot shit. I mean, you took one of the coolest characters in comics, in my opinion, with Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen. And the very first 5 minutes of the movie, even though he looked a little weird, a little cheesy, it was still interesting. The 4 horsemen were cool. But once you got past that into modern, it went to shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted Magneto to be a horseman. They wanted Storm to be a horseman. And I'm like, why are you reinventing shit? But, that's the way some of those guys will do.
Well, once again, you do it. Frederick said that The Last Stand. The Last Stand. Is that the Last Stand? Is that the...
that's the one where he moved the bridge and shit.
Oh, see, I already fucking forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that was hot shit.
Oh wait,
Brian
is
Singer
that where they
pulled
made
in-
the plastic bullets and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's the one where they went out to the prison
Alcatraz.
island in San Francisco. And he moved
Alcatraz.
the bridge. It's just garbage, man. And Brian Singer was notorious for that shit. He would take several mutants, combine them into one mutant to create a new. Case in point, damn Darwin. Oh, Stephen King's last name.
Yeah,
My bad.
okay.
I thought you were talking about,
That's
oh,
what I
wait, no,
thought. That's what I thought. Last
no, there
yeah.
was the X-Men The Last Stand. That was hot shit. He's bringing up another subject. I guess Last Stand, he made him think about Stephen King. It's called Stephen King The Stand, not The Last Stand.
Yeah, I think it's The Stand, you're right.
So like case in point, Darwin, the character Darwin in X-Men New Class or whatever the hell it's called. This is literally a character that on the instant something happens, evolves to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So he protects himself. You shove power into his mouth, he dies. It's game over. Are you shitting me? You see what I mean? It's just and like I said, Brian Singer and that other guy, they were bad about that shit. Just overlooking stuff that makes zero sense to either combine in mutants to create some new person, and it's all because of that mentality they have. Well, I need to tell my story. Like comic fans, Star Wars fans, etc., are some of the easiest fans in the world if you just stay true to the material. You're asked to literally take one of the great stories from the X-Men, whether it's Inferno, whether it's the actual Age of Apocalypse storyline, or the actual Days of Future Past. You could take that damn movie, slap it up on the damn screen, word for word what it said in the comic, and you'll make shit tons of money.
Now I will say I did enjoy Days of Future Past.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
No, it was bad. I actually enjoyed that because it was that close to the actual
it stayed pretty. It stayed similar. It wasn't a bad movie. It's definitely one of my favorites out of all of them. They've done.
Yeah, they
and I didn't mind First Class. The very the part of First Class, the movie itself in general.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I didn't mind too much. Just that when it got to where it got to that Darwin stuff, I was like, okay, now you've lost me.
So have you seen the new Pet Cemetery?
You talking about the new movie, or you talking about
the new movie the new movie that just came out?
Well, there's something that just dropped called Pet Cemetery Bloodlines.
Yes,
so
that's
that one I haven't seen yet. Now I saw the remake of Pet Cemetery. So there's like two things.
Okay, which was the remake of? Because I remember the one from the 90s.
Yeah, and that movie's incredible.
Okay,
the remake is the one that came out a couple years ago that has that dude that played in one of the Terminator movies in Genesis. He played the actual Terminator. He was actual John Connor turned that into a Terminator.
Oh, that guy with the square jaw.
So, the guy from the Last Planet, or Second to the Last, or Last Planet of the Apes movie. He was the guy in that too. I can't remember the guy's name. Great actor. But the remake of that's actually not bad.
Did they stay close to the original movie or more towards the book? Or from what I understand, you guys know I don't fucking read, but from what I understand, people who saw the very first one from the 90s loved it because it was really close to the book.
Yeah, it was.
So
yeah,
how was the remake?
The new one changed it just a little. Of course, obviously, instead of being the little boy, if I remember correctly, it was a little girl. So there was a little, if I remember correctly, it's been a minute since I've seen that one. But
why do they do that? Why do they do that?
Like I said, I think it's one of those things. Like it's kind of like with the remake of Evil Dead. They changed the last. In the original Evil Dead, the last character was Ash. Well, in the Evil Dead remake, the last character is the girl. So she's like the Ash character. She cuts off her hand, the whole 9 yards with the chainsaw thing. So I think they do that just to kind of give you that little shock of, oh, that's different. Like it doesn't really hurt the movie per se, but it's just kind of like, oh, okay, that's a little different. I think they do it for that.
All right. I mean,
no.
it is what it is. Nope. I tell you what, I watched Nope with not going in, not knowing anything really. And I left it I saw it at home, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I was so impartial because I love Get Out. Get Out was to me fantastic, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty good movie.
That
I
was a
never
pretty good
watched
movie.
the other one though. The
Oh,
Us.
nope,
I haven't watched Us.
nope. Oh, I never saw Us either. I never saw Us either. And people love it or they hate. I've always met people who they love it or they hated it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've heard people talk about even Get Out. Like for me, like I will admit to like one complaint I heard about it, and I can definitely understand it. Yeah, it like one complaint I heard, it was too predictable. That I heard that oh, it's just going to be they're creating slaves, and it's like, okay, I mean I can kind of see where you could kind of get that conclusion early on, that that's basically what it was. Because I mean, if you pay attention to the movie, you kind of notice that who's working the property and who's being serving the drinks, and who so I get that. I haven't watched.
You did that twist with the grandma and grandpa stuff, and that was kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
See, but now the twist to it for me was like, I get what they were saying, like, because that's what if you pay attention, they're brainwashing new slaves, like that's what you would kind of come to the conclusion on. But the little twist that they were actually putting their consciousness into younger bodies. Now that was the twist that that got me like, oh, okay, when that was kind of revealed.
That was kind of cool. I'm always I'm a huge fan of revenge movies. Anything that has to do with revenge, I am in for revenge. So the fact that he kind of got his at the end, including that his girlfriend, because she's just a bitch, right?
Yeah.
So when it happened, you're like, yes.
For me, she was the most evil.
Oh my gosh, she was
even her mother and father who's doing this. For me, she was the most evil.
The way she changed,
someone's love and affection to do that to someone. That's some hardcore evil.
The way she changed, oh, I'm trying to find the keys, and like these
the
keys,
personality,
the keys, and you're like, oh, this bitch, right? You're like,
yeah,
man, and you can tell in his face, he's like, oh, hell no, right?
Yeah, I definitely have to give her credit, because that minute where she went serious.
Yeah,
because she knew like it was over, like the cat was out of the bag. Yeah. Now I love it when I see actors or actresses that can do that. All of a sudden they go from that to, well, shit, you know, and you see the evil in their face.
So this is what happens when a lot of times with a lot of directors, and Jordan Peele he's fantastic with what he did with Get Out. So then people, and I'm gonna compare him to M. Night Shyamalan, where he blew his load with Sixth Sense, and then everyone thinks that the next one's gonna be the next Sixth Sense, and the next one's gonna be Sixth Sense. You're like, oh, that was all right, but it wasn't the Sixth Sense. And then he makes another one. You're like, oh, that wasn't all right. But now, M. Night Shyamalan, I enjoyed a few of his other movies, not all of them, because The Happening or The Happen or how that wind thing was trash.
Well, you got to look at it this way too. For me personally, like what I hate about him is his last 10 minutes, 15-minute reveal.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Because The Happening, I thought was a pretty good movie. The concept of it, what was going on, I thought the storytelling was cool. It kind of kept you on the edge of your seat about what the hell's going to happen next.
And then the last 10 minutes,
oh, it's the trees mad at everybody. I was like, wait, what?
Okay,
like,
well,
and he does that on every movie. You can watch every one of his movies. The Sixth Sense has been the only reveal he's done where people went, okay, that was badass. Ever since that, the reveals were bullshit.
Well, I will say though, I got caught with The Village. I like The Village.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you go, this is bullshit. This won't work. Because The Village was good.
Get it. The reveal was good. I was like, oh, it got me as the shit because of the whole time.
Yeah, you definitely wasn't expecting it.
Lady in the Water, I think, was that the one?
No, somebody mentioned it earlier. I know what you're talking
No,
about.
that's Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
That's Guillermo del Toro. That's
That's
Guillermo
right.
del
That's
Toro. The one he
Lady
did
in
was
the Lady.
no.
Was it Lady in the Water? I know
Help
what
me-
you're talking about. I know what
yeah.
you're talking about.
Help me out,
Yeah.
Chad. Who's the one he did with the girl in the pool at
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
the apartment building? That was all right. And Signs. I enjoyed Signs.
Yeah, Signs was great, but like I said,
Except for the part where the aliens come invade a place that's 90% water.
but they're like, no, see, for me, the twist was, oh, I'll just knock some water on them. Like, wait, what? But now that's a good movie though. Like I said,
it is a good
pretty much all his movies I've watched, I've enjoyed Lady in the Water until he gets to the twist. And he even did the same shit and it's usually, if you pay attention, it's like every third movie that he does has a shitty twist. Even when he did the trilogy for Unbreakable, great damn movie. Split, incredible damn movie.
I did not like the third one.
Well, the third movie was good until wait a minute. You seriously just killed everybody, and you killed him with his face in a puddle of water.
Yeah,
come the fuck off. So
I didn't like that. Now he did do that one movie that people forget, and maybe you might know it or help me out, chat. The one where the grandparents, the kids go visit the grandparents that they've never met.
I know what you're talking about.
What is the name of that movie, people?
That movie.
Home or whatever, and there's a twist to that one, obviously, towards the very end. But
he's got a twist on everything.
he if you guys remember, right, the kids go visit the grandparents, and like the grandma's naked at one point, running across,
and it's not their grandparents.
And it's not the spoiler, people. It's not the grandparents.
It's not their grandparents.
It is. That was kind of cool, man. I gotta admit, because that one, now that goes back to the creepiness. Yeah. Something about naked old ladies skirting in the dark in the kitchen. That's just kind of like.
I mean, look in the remake of It when in the second movie when she goes to her father's old house, and that old lady's being creepy as hell.
Yes.
Kids are creepy as hell.
See, that's a remake right there.
Are creepy as hell.
That's a remake. I enjoyed the remake of It.
We're talking Pennywise. Talking about It. Oh yeah, Bill. Like I'm a huge Tim Curry fan. Yeah. Huge. It is one of my favorite made-for-TV movies from in general. Yeah. And I was super nervous when they said, it was being redone. And I was super nervous when they said Bill Skarsgård. Like I've seen Bill in that TV show he did. I can't remember the name of it, but that was kind of a creepy TV show that was pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. So I knew who Bill was. But I was nervous as hell. But the minute I saw the first damn image of him, I was like, holy shit.
He is Tim Curry's creepiness for the 80s was creepy for TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
They took it to a whole different level.
Yeah. But he made it his own too. Because Bill didn't try to imitate Tim Curry. And that's where sometimes you'll see shit go wrong is they try to recreate that guy or that person. No, that one, and I cannot wait to see this new show called Derry or whatever it is. I'm super excited.
Even the second one is them as adults. That was good, man. I enjoy the whole It series, and I'm not a big horror fan as a lot of you people are, but I enjoyed it because it was like one. If you're fearful of clowns, you're fucked.
Yeah, yeah.
That show's gonna heighten your phobia even more. If you're fearful of old houses, it's gonna screw you up there, right? Yep. If you're fearful of small towns where Derry is one of them.
Also, you know that Pennywise plays on your actual fears of you.
Yeah.
So if you remember in the movie with the kids, or even as adults, every time he attacked one, mentally, he always attacked them with the fears that they were actually afraid of. They did great on that movie. I mean, I know some people, again, the whole I hate all remake bandwagon people, which I think has got to be one of the dumbest mentalities to have for movies.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I understand that they dropped the ball on a lot of movies with remakes. I get that. But wow.
There's remakes that didn't need to happen. There's
Yeah.
tons of movies that no one ever called for a remake, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example. Total Recall. Leave it the way it
Yeah.
is. Arnold was great. It was cool. I'm cool with it. You don't have to do a Colin Farrell one, and now they're gonna make another remake apparently of Total Recall. So it's like,
See, that's what I'm kind of burnt out on. Stop trying to make remakes of remakes, because that's basically what you come down to. That's what happened with Charlie's Angels. You were doing a remake of a TV show.
yeah.
And I mean that you don't need that shit.
There was a time there where people were making movies of TV shows, right?
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned, Charlie's Angels,
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, which is very, very popular.
Yep.
That's one of the very few ones that's
Yeah.
still going on. Starsky and Hutch, they did,
Yep.
right? Chips, which I never saw, but
that was
asking Baywatch? Who was asking? Who said, you know what would be really good?
Well, they know they're aiming for us. That's what
nostalgia, 100% nostalgia,
because it's the 70s and 80s nostalgia because that's huge. Whether people want to admit to it or not, 80s nostalgia especially
100%.
is massive.
100%.
You know,
I tell you what did work was when they did the Brady Bunch movie, like the remake of that.
Yeah.
That was funny because it's
they picked characters that made sense for the roles. And then they kind of stay true. Like I think if Chips had been done and they stayed true to who Chips were, I think it would have been fine. But they didn't.
SWAT.
Yeah, SWAT.
You know, so there's quite a few that have been successful, but there's certain
SWAT
movies,
was actually a good remake.
There's certain movies that you're like, you know, why we don't. But now there's some certain movies I'm like, you know what? I think with the special effects now that.
Oh my God! Yeah.
That movie would look better. I would like to see a remake of The Black Hole.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
With the special effects, we have now, I would love to see I would love to see a remake of The Last Starfighter.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah.
But with today's technology, how it looks.
Oh my God!
How cool would it be? How this kid in a spaceship and he's fighting these things. I would love to see
because it would easily translate. All you do is make it where it's a video game on a PS5 or an Xbox.
That's all it is.
Or even whether it's a PC game. I mean, PC game would probably be your better one, but yeah, I mean, it would easily translate. I mean, I would love to see, even though nobody's asking for it or probably nobody wants it, but me, and it's one of my all-time favorites. I would love to see a remake of the Monster Squad. I would love to see. A really good remake. Like I hope that ends up being true about Vincent Del Toro. I would love to see a true remake of Frankenstein or even the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, they haven't really. I mean, I guess the closest they got was Shape of Water.
Yeah. But it wasn't really.
It wasn't
horror, though.
No, it wasn't horror.
Yeah, it's just like a love story kind of thing. Which, to be fair, I haven't watched that one.
But it is a good movie, but definitely not horror.
Yeah. So there's definitely some stuff. I'll tell you another one that was, and it really breaks my heart that it was a shit remake because I'm a fan of Rob Zombie's music and I'm a fan of some of the movies Rob Zombie's done. Like I loved his remake of Halloween. Okay, you hated the second one. Loved the first one. I've met Tyler Mane. I loved him as that role as Michael. I enjoyed House of a Thousand Corpses. I enjoyed Devil's Rejects for what they are. And he's a massive horror fan. So it really broke my heart when I watched Monsters because that is shit.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I saw the trailer on whatever it was, Netflix, whatever it is, just a trailer, and I'm like, was this filmed in someone's house? The quality looked like shit. It looked.
It was on purpose, but
was it? Because it looked horrible.
The set designs and everything. It was meant to be more of a throwback of the way it was done. For that, it doesn't make sense. Now, if he had left, I think visually it probably would have worked if he had done black and white. Doing the color, that shit doesn't work. But the way they made Grandpa. And the way they made Herman, really, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that Herman was a bit of an idiot, but there was just something about it that just didn't sit right with me.
Did they make him more of an idiot? Did they make him like more of a moron?
Yeah, he's more of that, not like lovable idiot, just
annoying idiot.
Annoying idiot, in my opinion. Yeah, and because I mean, again, he was kind of an idiot, but he was that lovable. That's my, you know, Herman. I'm saying Hummer. That's my Herman. You know, that's the like she loves him because that's her Herman,
right?
And he just is who he is, and
he's
she
the lovable idiot, right? The one,
exactly,
big teddy bear.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course the way she played Lily, like
who was it? What actress was it?
Wife, of course.
Oh, the wife.
Yeah, she got it. That's why the second damn Halloween movie wasn't worth the shit. He made his wife the primary, you know, storyline in that second movie, and it was trash. You know,
did you like the remake of Freddy? Did you like the remake of Nightmare Before Elm Street?
Yeah, I've seen it. That one, huge Robert Englund fan, huge Freddy fan.
Do you think they made it justice? They did it justice?
I liked it. Now, the one thing I didn't like about it, now don't get me wrong, if you got to shelve your Robert Englund's the only Freddy for me, you got to shelve that shit. You got to lock your inner fanboy up, and you got to look at it with fresh eyes.
Right.
And the makeup was off a little because they were trying to go for more classic Byrne look.
Right.
So it did kind of throw the makeup off a little, where it should have been a little bit more stylized, which is how they did the original Freddy. It was more stylized. It was good for what it was, and it told a good story. It had the creepiness. Dude played Freddy creepy, in my opinion. I did not like the fact that they changed it to Freddy being a child molester.
Oh, that's right. So they changed it. They changed it where he would lure them into the basement or whatever it is.
You know, originally he would take kids and he would kill them, but it was never suggested. It was never implied, even in the slightest, that he was a child molester.
Maybe they did it to really have this generation that maybe never saw the original to really hate him.
Yeah,
like to really we're gonna burn this guy. We're gonna we hate him so much for what he's been doing. We're gonna make sure to kill him instead of like in the first one he just killed kids.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's one of those things that, you know, it shouldn't be. I don't know. I'm a big fan of not changing things that don't need to be changed. Like, it annoys me when I see things being changed. Like I said, like with Herman. Instead of him being a lovable idiot, you turned him into more of an annoying idiot. Mm-hmm. Most people probably wouldn't even notice that, but for me, it's annoying. So that was kind of annoying for me. There was no point to it, no need to it. But like you said, it could be just one of those things. It's shock value. So, you know, they wanted it more of, you know, okay, because I mean, really and truly, whether you're still an evil ass person, like it. Like
he still killed kids. He still killed kids as it is.
The level of evil is.
But they added another, like, well, before he killed them.
Yeah. Okay, now I really hate him.
If I didn't hate him before for killing children, but now I'm really going to make sure your balls burn.
Right? So you're probably right on that. That's probably what it was. Because let's be honest, up to that point, even though he was killing kids, you know, with the concept origin, I mean, people were liking Freddy. Like we were talking about with Psycho.
Because he's now, see, this goes back to what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the show, to me, the scary characters are the ones who have no personality, is one directed, has the blinders on, and all he wants to do is cause complete chaos in your life and people's lives. No puns, no jokes. And those are the things that people like Freddy, because he was like, and do the jokes and the puns and the, you know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, it's prime time, bitch, and smash the head. And it's funny because you're going, oh, that's his character. That's why people love him. Yeah. Now, Halloween, Michael doesn't speak.
Nope.
And that's why people fear him because
Yeah.
he has that objective of I'm going to kill you, and I'm not going to say
Yep.
a damn word through the whole movie, right?
Well, I mean, think about if you've ever
And
had.
Jason too. Jason's the same way.
Yep.
He didn't say a word either.
Yeah, but Jason's that concept where when people know his backstory, you know, when they know that he was a kid that was bullied and harassed, and then finally, killed per se, people kind of side with him a little. They empathize with him a
They
little.
felt
And
bad.
then and then when he starts killing those people at these situations, and it's always those people that annoyed the shit out of us in high school.
That's why people are like, right, the pretty girl, the jock, the popular guy, the one who exactly.
The ones who made our lives. If you were bullied in high school, those were your bullies. Yeah. So people are rooting for Jason, like, right. And like some people ask me sometimes, like, man, I read those first 3 books and like, oh, dude, like this dude, like this is going to be hardcore. Like this guy's not playing. I was like, yeah, that's the point. We don't want you to like him. You know, we don't want you to side with him on any way, shape, or form. I mean, even with that cover that I did, it's an homage to Batgirl 41. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to catch shit over this cover from people. Now, of course, it's not really going to be fans of horror or fans of comics. It's going to be, the blue hair brigade, that wants to, throw a hissy fit and pretend they're offended about every damn thing. And of course, for the record, it's not every person with blue hair. So nobody jump my PMs crying a river. Kind of proving my point, but don't. It's that I got to be offended by everything. So and somebody asked me, well, why did you choose that cover? And I was like, well, when you think about it in the concept of whether even if it's Joker, the worst thing you could ever be is in the hands of Joker, and there's not shit you can do. And that's kind of what that cover for that book, why it was so controversial even back then, was because first of all, you had never seen that. Right. And you knew this was a moment where she was absolutely terrified for her life. Mm-hmm. Like you could see it in her eyes on that original book. Right. And that's why I wanted to do like that cover is, I wanted to show you that this is not Freddy. This is not Jason. This is not anybody you're going to be laughing and rooting for. That what he's about to do to this person is some of the worst things someone could have happen.
And that goes once again back to the imagination of, if you're going to be reading this, you're going like, this isn't going to turn out well.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what's going on. That's what sucks about nowadays. There's no more anticipation. Yep. There's no more at the edge of your seat. Trailers show too much of the movies. You already kind of seen the whole movie and trailers. Back in my days, trailers give you enough of the morsels for you to go, ooh, now that looks good, because I want to know what's going to happen next. Yeah, now trailers are 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You should let's jump back and look at Batman v Superman. They showed Doomsday in the damn trailer.
They showed Doomsday in the trailer, and I was like,
even though I thought he should have never been in the movie anyway, but if that had been trailer only, that would have been such an incredible impact.
I'm still, and it's a shame, but Hollywood doesn't listen. They want to show more. They really want to entice people in more, but I'm a firm believer that less is more. And that's why I think teasers, because now they have teasers and then they have full-blown trailers.
Yeah.
And I think you should just stay with the trailers. Now, if you go back, if for anyone in the chat, if you're just bored, go back and look at trailers from the 80s of movies that came out in your childhood. And it was like, that's why I do the voiceovers sometimes with the in a world, right?
The
one man, one knife. Right. And it would get you like, oh, what the hell's going on? Cheesy as all hell, but it made you want to watch the movie. It made you want to go like, I want to see this. Nowadays, I saw Dune. I saw the trailer for Dune 2. Yeah. I felt like I basically saw 3 minutes of the whole movie, and I was like, I'll watch it. But
people ask me now, oh, did you see the trailer for this? I was like, oh, hell no, I don't watch no trailers now. It's way too much information.
It is a little too much information, but you know what? times are a changing, and people want more. And you would think because people have such a short attention span that they would want less.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We're in a different society. We're in a different world where, like you said, people are leaving their work in the middle of the night with one headlight, with one lamppost flickering in the parking lot, and they're in their phone getting to their car.
Yep. Not
And,
paying no.
and you're going like, "Oh, I saw this movie.
Yeah.
This is an
And I think
intro of every movie I know."
that's where I think horror movies are better than any movies floating around, because especially if you grow up watching them. Because I know there's been moments where my ass has been walking through a major city or somewhere with some friends. Maybe we did a concert or whatever, and we're walking back, and somebody goes, "Well, hey, let's just cut through this alleyway." And I'm like, "Hell no! I saw that movie."
I saw that movie, right? Cutting down hallways, alleyways, hearing a distant dog barking in the background when there's like a dog rolling in, and never split up with your friends. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'll meet you guys over there. I'm like, oh hell no.
Hell no. You're gonna walk with me to CVS and pick up this cough medicine because I'm not gonna leave your site. But that's the fun thing about movies, and we can talk about this for hours, but it's time for me to get going because I gotta do things before the wife gets home tomorrow. And
no problem, man. Like, I appreciate you coming on and hanging out and just chatting movies and stuff, man. I definitely appreciate it.
It's fun. I mean, this is what we do. But a little plug, if you guys want to see more of this mug, Comic Menu every Wednesday, 9:15 p.m. East Coast. This week, Wednesday, we have Brian Hirsch. He's from Carnivore Comics. He's also donating a DOT book for us to give away on the show.
Cool.
So far, it's been good. We've over 20K followers on the web page, and we're booked till January now with guests. It's been going good. So tune on in on Facebook, Twitch, and the Comic Menu, all one word, on YouTube, and you could see more of this. And Dell, the Culinary Comics, my co-host, and Will jumps in there sometimes in the chat and chats it up if he has time to break away from writing some good content. And Will, so let's get together and we'll make the next teaser, and I'll play with it, and we could play around with it.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll get with you over the next day or two, and I want to do the new quote. The one that really ruffled some feathers on down Facebook. I had people sending me PMs about that quote.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Oh yeah.
The funny thing is, I read it. I'm like, well, that's what a serial killer would do.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, that was. I had to turn comments off on the post.
Really?
When I originally posted, I left it open, and dude, there was like 3 or 4 like comments within the first.
Because of the G word.
Just like people like, oh, that you shouldn't talk that way, or I'm like, and so you'll like, if you go back and look at the post, like it's locked, and it says something like, "Chill out, people. This is a quote from a serial killer to one of his victims in a comic. It's not real," or something like that. Yeah, dude. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm expecting like people don't understand when everybody toots their own horn about their product. I get that, but when I tell people that with issues 4, 5, and 6 dealing with Tony and her perspective as becoming one of the victims, this is not going to be a fun day. That's why I keep trying to reiterate that to people. Like, we're here to push the envelope. We're here to push the uncomfortableness of this to get across the point that you need to start paying attention when you walk to your damn car. Because whether you're male or female, you need to be awake. You need to be looking around and paying attention.
How many books are you thinking in the series?
10. So Psycho Sal itself is 10 books.
Okay.
And and Chris Hayes wrote the first 3, which is the lead FBI's perspective. Victor Gray. And then when we get it into issue 4, 5, and 6, we change that perspective, and now you're experiencing seeing this entire storyline that's unveiling before you through the eyes of Tony, which is one of the victims. And then when we get to 7 through 10, we're going to change it again, and now you're going to be seeing and experiencing everything through the eyes of Psycho Sal. And we're doing that to create that more intimate setting and viewing, because normally you either see stuff through the eyes of the hero or you kind of see it through the eyes of the killer every once in a while with maybe a sprinkle of a victim or here, but you're never living the life. And so especially from the victim standpoint, you know, you might see something happen to somebody, but you're not really seeing them go from this happy, sweet, bubbly into this just absolute terrified, paranoid, you know, tortured person.
Okay.
And so that's what you're going to see with that. But you know, like I told people, you know, some of these quotes that you'll see me occasionally put up as just teasers for the book, they're not going to be nice. I mean, it's meant to solicit an emotion out of you. You just need to keep your damn emotions in check and don't get in my PMs crying about something Psycho Sal said.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to tweaking the voice and reading that quote, and we'll go from there because
Yeah, for sure.
after all, the guy's a fucking serial killer. Come on, people.
Yeah, that's what he's supposed to be.
He's not a Cub Scout. He's not an 8-year-old Cub Scout making that comment, which actually would be pretty
No.
creepy.
So, yeah,
But yeah. But yeah,
that'll be fun to do. Like I said, I definitely want to get that one. And like I said, I'll get with you over the next day or two because there are a couple little minor changes I want to change with it as I got to thinking about some other things that are floating around out there. But yeah, I'll get with you. But thank you again for coming on and hanging out, man. I appreciate it.
It's fun to hang out on a Sunday, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right, later, bud. Have a good night.
Thanks, pal.
All right, what's up, guys? All right, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this Sunday while we just kind of talked movies and just enjoying, you know, some fellowship. I'm always up for talking movies or talking comics. Like I said, for the Creators Corner, I'm gonna start trying to do like 2 of these shows every Sunday if I'm available. You know, obviously some Sundays I'm at Comic-Con appearances and stuff like that, but on the Sundays I am at home to try to help, you know, force myself to not be sitting and working. I'm going to try to do this every Sunday I'm home and do it twice a day to where I can get like some people that can be on the show early in the day and then some people that can be on the show later in the afternoon and try to do a couple of these shows to create more content, you know, for the YouTube channel and stuff like that. But make sure you guys give a like, make sure you guys share out, make sure you guys are paying attention to the Psycho Sal book. Like I said, we're deep in the mix of, you know, the victim's perspective. Issue number 5, if everything goes good, we'll go into Kickstarter this coming Friday. Yeah, that's right. It is. I hadn't had a damn chance. I've been so busy. I've been doing a bunch of shows. I got cover stuff I'm trying to get done. I've just been so slammed. I haven't gotten to draw a single damn, you know, Inktober or iMonstertober, or however people word it these days. Yeah, today is, I believe like Frederick said, today is Psycho Sal Day. So make sure you guys draw Psycho Sal. Make sure you hashtag and tag us on it if you do for the iMonster. And I'd love to see what people are putting out for the character. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Sunday, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good one, guys. Take care.